This part of the tutorial is essentially how to apply the electronic training collar, and essentially you'll see that I have it pre-looped, so when I go to slide it over the dog's head, the light is actually facing me. So when I go to put it on, I just put it on, and the receiver box should end up just below the dog's right ear. When I snug it up, I want it tight enough so where the dog can't relocate the receiver by shaking her head or scratching at the collar. And because her coat is so dense, it's kind of in flux right now because she's starting to blow like crazy. Fitting is going to be a bit of a problem because she's got that labby coat and it's real shiny and glossy and slick. So what you want to do is insert your finger underneath the throat latch like I have here, and there shouldn't be a lot of play. Good girl. Very nice. Yes. Because you don't want her to be able to shake her head and relocate the receiver or be able to scratch it into a different location. Okay. Good girl. Now, oops. What we got going on over here there, sweet pea? There we go. Now, one of the things that I advise, I always caution owners that are new to the e-collar, doesn't matter what the level was that you had the dog on the day before or after you took the before you took the collar off the last time or whatever. When you put the collar, when you activate it and put it back on the dog and you turn on your transmitter, you need to make sure that the transmitter is set at 1. You don't want to accidentally be lighting the dog up when it's in a neutral environment. Say, she might work on a 4 or 5. Pup that we just did was working between a 4 and a 7, when normally he works at much higher levels because it's a neutral environment. What's the matter, Pumpkin? Aw, you can't be tired. I know what you want. When we're done, you get to play. But basically what you want to do is incrementally start rolling through the dial in 1 or 2 step increments, and basically tap like you did when you first started testing the collar to see if you're getting an appropriate response. Now she actually works at a pretty low level. I'm inclined to believe, actually as a matter of fact, I believe the owner told me that this dog has been on an electric fence, so her response to the e-collar is going to be at a much lower level because her conditioning has been that the e-collar is a punishment device, which is not the way we use it. So basically what I want to do is simply tap, and when she gives me good, when she gives me an appropriate response, I'm going to pay her off. She's had this conditioning before. I'm going to tap until she looks at me. Yes, good girl. So the message becomes that when I focus on the handler, good things happen. Now this girl, I knows it, huh? No. This girl, if I'm not mistaken, was in an animal shelter or from a rescue on the East Coast in another state. And she's a yearling. I mean, she's not much but a year old. And they had taken her through training elsewhere and had did a fair bit of work with her. But she doesn't like to come when she's called. And she tends to be a little indifferent to the handlers. Good girl. And as a result, what we're doing is we're kind of changing her parameters to think that handler equals good. Okay. And what I'm doing is just basically kind of milling around. Voluntary behavior gets rewarded when she comes, moves in, sits, gives me strong eye contact. All I want from this dog is a little bit more attentiveness. Good. Very nice. Good girl. Now, if you notice, she keys in on the pocket. She's had a lot of treat training throughout her life, which is fine. I love treats, but I don't like this begging. Yes. Nope. She starts articulating her body to accommodate the treat goes away, and we go back to work. That does not get rewarded in any way, shape, or form. Good. Then we try again. Eye contact's what I'm after. Yes. And then we pay her off. Okay. The reason we're doing this, again, is because this dog has a tendency to think, good girl, here, sit. This dog has a tendency to think that the only thing good about a human is what it's got in its pockets. Good, good. Yes. So what I'm going to do is, using the e-collar, I'm going to force strong eye contact. Good, good. Yes. And then I'm going to present the treat, and I'm going to continue tapping until I get that eye contact back. Good, good, good. Yes. Eye nose it, huh? Yes. She's looking every, yes. I'm strengthening the response to yes, just by virtue of the fact that she's going through an extinction process. Yes. Yes. Okay. So she starts realizing the only way to get that treat out of my hand is to pay closer attention to what my eyes are doing. Good girl. Count. Here. Sit. No, here. Sit. Good pup. Very nice. Very good. Off. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Good. Nope. Every time she uses her feet, leave it. Good. Good girl. She's very handsy. She likes to hook the leash. It's her way of protesting confinement and control. She also likes to put her feet on people. We've introduced the off command, which is do not touch me with your feet. Leave it, which is what you want, you cannot have. Leave it. Good. Very nice. And out, which is what you have, you cannot keep. Which is, I should have used there, because she has this tendency to be really mouthy. Good pup. Okay. The cool thing about the e-collar, here, sit. Good girl. I knows it, huh? Good girl. Is basically, you don't use it as a punishment tool. You're actually using it as an incentive to do. And one of the things that I stress is the leash and collar is the environment that the dog is restrained from engaging in behaviors, because by virtue of its nature, the dog can only do what it can do within the confines of the leash. So you can see right here's a prime example. She's trying to scratch herself or lick herself or whatever. The latitude of leash I give her prevented her from doing that. So what she did instead, to compensate for what I would not permit her to do, was to lay down and do something that was equally as self-gratifying. So what I want to do is toggle her between the two. Direct pressure is the leash, indirect pressure is the collar. I'm simply going to tap and step back here. Good. Sit. Now I don't know if the camera picked it up, but it was on a dead loose leash. If she would have resisted, she would have corrected herself. But essentially, what happened was the motion, that social attraction of me moving away. And I'm tapping. Good, good. The social attraction of me moving away with an application of pressure from the collar. Yes. Good girl. To teach her that I'm a little bit more important. Good girl. Yes, just like that. Uh-huh. Pressure is completely absent. I'm talking her through it. Good girl. Nice job. Kennel up. Kennel up. Here. Sit. Good girl. Here. No. There we go. Good girl. I know. You're a very good girl. You're smiley. You're so smiley. You're so pretty. I knows it, huh? Okay. Okay. And again. I'm not tapping. She's just itching. Good, good. Because the sensation of the collar. The dogs only wear these collars here. So when they're working, if she's in her crate, unless she has issues in her crate, she doesn't need to wear it while she's in her crate. Sit. Stay. So she may need to use it, you may need to use it, sit, stay. To get her to understand that as you tell her or direct her to go into her crate, she needs to do so quickly. Good girl. Count. Nope. Count. Why are you hanging out now? Here. No. Nope. Here. Sit. Good girl. Here. Sit. Good girl. What I'm trying to do is get her to line up square, which she's kind of reluctant to do. You can't see it, but she can see her reflection above her head. Good girl. And now that the wind's picking up, she's picking up odors from everywhere. Yes. Good. The here command basically means you come to me, you give me strong eye contact. You can see we have a table. It has 4 sides and 4 corners. So we have 8 points with which to be able to get the dog to line up square and face us when we call her to here. This is how this behavior is actually introduced. So essentially, if you represent 6 o'clock on the clock face, she represents 12 o'clock, we want to line up. So if I step over here, she is now facing essentially my 3 o'clock position. What I want to do is to move, again, social attraction, tap and turn. Here. Here. To get her to move, I'm going to apply a little bit of direct leash pressure. Here. No. Here. Good. Sit. Until she's right. As she's in motion, good girl. And I basically line her up. I'm going to tell her to sit to stop the motion so she can be correct instead of pummeling her for not being correct. Good girl. And then I'm going to release. Okay? Somewhere in this dog's past, she's had some of this work. It was relatively easy to get her to understand some of the basic concepts here, of which most of them are taught to all dogs that go through obedience training to some degree, but primarily the retreat, the cast to a different location, and the here sit are all retriever exercises. So it's quite likely that this dog has experienced this work in the past in the previous home. Count. Good. Here. Good girl. Now again, I'm moving deliberately so I can help her understand that the here command means face me. Here. Sit. Good girl. Not totally perfect, but she's at about my 5:30 position, so I'm going to let that ride. And I'm getting strong eye contact. Was getting strong eye contact. Now I'm forcing it with the collar, which she's working through on a 7. Yes, good girl. But I only pay her off when I get it. The signal for release is look me in the eyes. The reason this is important, especially when you have a dog who's as gamey as she is, here. No, here. Good girl, Daisy Duke. Sit. Good, good. And you hear me say this a lot. I've been saying it for years. Good. A dog's only thinking about what he's looking at. Right now she's thinking about that food in my hand. What I want her thinking about is me. As being the harbinger, nope. And again, see how she shifts on the ground? Here. Sit. Yes. Yes. She fixed her own position in order to accommodate the here command. So for instance, in a real world application, you're taking her for a walk. She gets lit up by a squirrel or a cat or what have you. If you've hardened the here behavior, she's going to ignore that in favor of the conditioning that brings her a reward she can bank on. Here. Sit. Good, good. Very nice. I mark the behavior. I pause before I pay it off. Yes. Yes. I'm not tapping. Yes. Good girl. I'm waiting for a more prolonged eye contact, which I didn't get, but she made a good effort. So anyways, what I want her to do and start feeling comfortable with is not the anxiety or the arousal about seeing something in the distance, but that she can be assured, good girl. Voluntary behavior is automatically rewarded. Yes, good girl. So now we're starting to see in this dog something that I was hoping to see a little bit earlier on in the training, is an appropriate response to contact. Not just do it because I say so, but a willingness to participate in events that involve the owner. Very early, good. Sit, very nice. Very early, her whole thing was all about what she could do to entertain herself. Good. It had nothing to do with the people around her. She didn't really want to be interactive with us or the community of other dogs, many of whom are her age or close to her age, that we figured that she would probably want to play with. And she really had no interest. I'm sorry, sweetheart, that was me. Good girl. Here. Count. Good. Here. Nice. Sit. She avoided the other dogs early. She was terrified of a couple of them, and they're mostly both of my personal dogs are just gormless adolescents who like to play. She had no interest. She was overwhelmed by one of the other dogs that we had here, who's a puppy, half her age, and she was just like, I want to play. This is kind of scary. And she spent more time on her back than she did on her feet. But over the course of the last couple of days, she's become a lot more interactive, and she enjoys playing with them on a pretty robust level. She likes to race, she likes to chase, she likes to butt bite. Leave it. Yes. Good girl. Okay. And as a result, she starts to be a little bit warmer. And what I mean by that is she's a little bit more interactive. She likes to be engaged. People have a little bit more interest for her. We're able to actually get her back into a mode of followship as opposed to leadership, so that way she understands that the best things that she has going for her is her ability to pay attention to the person at the end of the leash, which is nice. We're still working on some issues with heel, and we're still working on issues with down and stay. Here, sit, stay. Under distraction, her stays were totally worthless. Good. Very nice. We can get about 60 seconds in a sit. Good pup. Okay. Which that was nowhere near 60 seconds. But the down's a little rougher. Count. Good girl. Here. Sit. Good. And basically we're still at a point where we're luring downs. We give her the hand command, down. And what I'm doing is applying some drag on the leash so she doesn't have an opportunity to get back up. And hopefully that the pressure is going to help her understand. And it's not, of course. Down. Again, if she avoids, if she fights the pressure, good girl. Now again, I'm not paying that off just by virtue of the fact that I don't want her thinking that she's going to be rewarded for the fight. I'm still applying direct pressure to the leash so that she cannot escape. And then as soon as she relaxes, which if you look by her body posture, she's poised for flight. What I want her to do is rock to one side, which if you see, if I put pressure on her body, she resists, because as soon as I take my hand off the leash, she's going to bolt. Good. Relax that leash pressure a little bit, and then I'm going to release her. Okay. Very nice. Here, pumpkin. Nope. Kennel. Here. Sit. Very nice. Very nice. You ready? Down. No. Down. Good girl. Stay. Now I'm just going to pet her here. I don't want to confuzzle her by giving her a treat. I do want her to relax, and there we go. There we have it. That doesn't mean that she's not going to be prepared to move. Leave it. What I want to do is keep her focused on the task, which is down and stay. Good. Oh, I knows it, huh? Oh. Leave it. Leave it. Good. Good girl. And release. Okay. Good pop. And again, because she's only been here for 2 weeks, or will have only been here for 2 weeks. Kennel. Good. Here. Sit. Good. Down. Up. Down. Stay. It's not enough to harden the behaviors, but she's got a real good start. Good girl. Okay. Now, she jumped the gun on that one. So, I'm not necessarily sure I want to pay that. Kennel. Good. Sit. Good girl. Very nice. Stay. You're so very pretty. You're so very pretty. You remind me of a dog that I worked with years ago. She was butter colored just like you. And her name was Dixie. Yeah, she was very sweet. Okay, good girl. Very nice. All right, so there we go. That's pretty much where we're at. Okay, leave it. Good. Okay. Sit. Good pup. Good girl. Come here. Good. Very nice. Very nice. You can see the contrast between this dog and the youngster that we started in the first video clip of the day. How she's a lot more willing to bend and move. She's had a lot more work than he has. And she's not limited by disadvantages as far as physical stamina goes. She's a pretty clever little monkey. She's had some work put into her. Good girl. Let's see that. She's got a bad bruise. Good girl. She maintained some damage to a toenail. I don't know how that occurred. Good girl. Oh, I knows it, huh? Good pup. We'll have to remedy that when we give you a bath and put your nails. Okay, good girl. But what I was saying, yeah, the distinction between the two is not only an issue of maturity, it's an issue of work, and it's an issue of willingness to cooperate. The young puppy, for the most part, has lived a relatively spoiled lifestyle since he was hooked off some transport from the south. And this gal has a bit of a history to her. Some of it not necessarily pleasant, but a good portion of it would be a lifestyle that I'd be interested in living. Lots of travel, carrying owners, what have you. Huh?